So annual rental growth in prime London is up by 22%. And in this video, I'm going to share with you exactly what that means for the prime London rental market. But I'm also going to be sharing with you 3 specific properties in 3 areas that have increased by double digits. So stay tuned. Annual rental growth across the whole of the UK have gone absolutely crazy, and London is no exception. In fact, if we look at the lack of available stock across all prime London, but also look at the strong demand when it comes to tenants, we can see that that's really driving up rental growth to the highest level that we've seen probably in decades. London is very much back open for business. International travel is open, universities are back, but also those offices are open and people are back to work. And when we look at it from a property perspective, we can see that inventory has been low anyway over the course of the last few years. And there's different factors because of this, but mainly landlords are getting more regulated by the government and people don't want that burden. But you're also seeing taxation, so the margins are getting smaller and smaller. And in general, the return of investment, especially in prime London areas, is getting smaller when it comes to those yields. And the fact that prime London is back open for business absolutely means you should hit that like button so we can push out more videos like this to people like you. So most of us know that when you do invest in prime London areas, what you're going to get is that long-term capital appreciation as opposed to getting high yields on a yearly basis. And rents continue to increase rapidly. In fact, we look at annual growth of 22%, and even comparing it to previous peak times as well. For example, around just before the financial crisis, the previous high of Q2 2007 was 19% and Q3 2010 was 16%. As you can see on this chart, it's a similar story. We can see growth rates ranging from around about 25% in prime London to 18% in prime Fringe. And although we are seeing double-digit growth across all prime London, it's important that we put things into perspective. If we look at it from a 2-year time frame, we can see that the growth is actually 7.8% over the course of 2 years. Break that down to yearly, you're looking at about 3.8%. If we break that down even more in terms of 5 years, it's even weaker still at 10.9% in total and an average annual growth rate of just 2.1% per annum. And although I think the high rental prices are here to remain, I just don't think that the rental price is going to continue to increase at the pace that we've seen. And of course, this is my opinion. Feel free to leave your comment below as to how you see the prime London property market. With rents rising 4.4% across all areas of prime London in the first quarter 2022, rental growth looks set to stay higher than the pre-pandemic trends. And as I said before, the rapid rise in rents is really a reflection of the lack of available stock at the moment. In fact, if we look at the number of new listings come onto the market in March, was 46% less than pre-pandemic levels, contributing to the lack of available stock. So let's look at some hotspots when it comes to double-digit growth in rental properties in prime London. First up is going to be a 3 to 4 bedroom house in Hampstead that rented during the pandemic. It rented for around about £2,800 and rented at the beginning of this year rented for £3,500. Second up is going to be a 2-bedroom property in a new building in St Pancras, and that rented last year for £2,500, and this year properties in the same building, 2 bedrooms, are renting for £3,500. My third option is going to be Notting Hill and St John's Wood, very residential areas, lots of square footage, very family orientated, lots of outside space, huge demand, and we're seeing also double-digit growth in those specific areas. 2-bedroom properties in prime London with some type of outside space will do very well. The reason for this is people are working from home and perhaps need more room in terms of this office space, but I also believe that people who could afford 1-bed flats prior to this pandemic can no longer perhaps afford having a 1-bed flat and perhaps are more open to sharing their properties. And as always, if you're looking to buy, sell or invest in prime London, feel free to reach out to myself and my team. And make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can get more videos like this on a weekly basis.